And again, that interview was Saturday, and then, of course, today's news. Joining us now to talk about one of the greatest ever to play the game of golf and what this crash could mean for the future of his career is Stephen Cannella, the co-editor-in-chief of Sports Illustrated. Stephen, thanks so much for giving us some time tonight. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I guess the big question tonight, other than exactly what led to the crash, is the injuries that he has sustained, in addition to the back issues he was just talking about there. Do you think his career is over?
Well, over might be a very strong word, but, Tiger Woods was already, in an athletic sense, he was getting up in age. He's 45 years old. Golf is a sport where people can play into their 40s, but no one since Jack Nicklaus in 1986 has won a major at age 45 or older. So Tiger was already sort of going up against, the tides of time, let's say. His career definitely on the downswing. His back, as we've mentioned, was in pretty bad shape. He's had frequent trouble with that over the last few years. So I don't know if this is going to say his career is over, but it does sound like if he has multiple leg fractures, a broken ankle, that sounds like that's at least all of this year to recover from that. The good news for Tiger is it sounds like he, as I believe the authorities said, he's lucky to be alive tonight.
And as the news broke earlier today, I think a lot of people had an immediate question of what led to the crash in the context of this is someone who's had substance abuse issues in the past, and did some of that perhaps play a role? Police were very clear, though, on that issue in their press conference a little while earlier tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, given the some of the personal problems Tiger has had over the last decade plus, everyone's mind sort of raced to the same place. And the good news is the authorities have been very clear, as you said, that there were no signs of impairment when they found him. He was lucid, he was conscious. It sounds like at first blush tonight, roughly 12 hours after the crash, this sounds like a case of just losing control of a car that may have been going a little too fast. But given some of his past health scares, his past substance abuse problems, he does have a DUI arrest on his record. It's easy to sort of leap to those conclusions, but it seems like all evidence tonight is pointing to none of those problems being at play in this incident.
As we all know, Stephen, there's a lot going on in the world right now. So folks who might be wondering, why are we leading the news with a car accident involving a single person who obviously is going to survive, was lucky enough to escape relatively unharmed in terms of a worse outcome. Just reiterate for people exactly why Tiger Woods is unarguably one of the towering athletes of our time.
Well, he's quite simply, he's probably the greatest golfer of all time. He's definitely the greatest golfer most of us have seen, from start to finish in their career. He's a transcendent figure, not just in golf, but in all of sports. He's broken a lot of barriers in his sport. He has dominated the game like few other golf has ever had. And he's been the largest crossover star golf has ever had. He's one of the most famous people on the planet, for better and worse sometimes, given what some of his experience have been. But look, this guy, in addition to his greatness on the course, he had a bit of a fall from grace, and then he's been what everyone likes best, which is a great comeback story. He won the Masters in 2019 after a 5+ year layoff of winning on the tour. That was a great comeback story. Tiger seemed to have gotten his life back in order. He seemed happy. He's happy with his family. He was playing well despite some back problems last year. There was a lot of excitement over seeing him possibly back out at Augusta at the Masters, chasing more majors this year, I should say. But quite simply, this is like living in a time of Babe Ruth. He's the Babe Ruth of golf. I don't think that's an overstatement. That's why this is such a big deal tonight.
And 10 seconds, if you had to bet money, will we see him on a golf course again?
Absolutely. He may be a shadow of what he once was. Knowing Tiger, knowing how competitive he is, he's determined to get back out there. If not in 2021, I wouldn't be shocked if we see him in 2022.
Stephen, thanks so much for giving us. I know you've had a busy day like we have. Thanks so much for giving us a few minutes of your time tonight.